What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day. I don't even know what time of day it is. Welcome to 30 NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Bungie replaces Marathon Director amidst leadership shakeup. We're going to be talking about World of Warcraft update adding a Battle Royale mode. And then we're also going to be talking about IGN Creators Guild lay off a couple of people there. And we'll talk a little bit more why this is important. Because they're in the video game, union and whatnot as well, or they tried to make a union. So we'll talk about that as well. So this is what's on the show today. We do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning to about noon Eastern. We just cover news stories, have conversations. If you like what we do here, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. What's going on, Dolphin? What's going on, Z? What's going on, Argus? What's going on, Soy Toy? So let's start off with Bungie, right? Let's start off with Bungie. Bungie replaces Marathon Director. Okay. Amidst leadership shakeup, fears of layoffs. So former Valorant game director Joe Ziegler is replacing Christopher Barrett. Now, why is this a big deal, right? Well, Chris Barrett came out last year, and he was in lead of Marathon, the new game that's coming out from the Bungie developers. And then all of a sudden, 9 months later, he's not there, and it looks like he got a promotion, but let's see what happened. So amidst ongoing actually with the Bungie following layoffs last year, the studio now preparing for another shakeup. This time it's on Marathon, its upcoming service game that's intended as the next step beyond Destiny. Now, according to multiple sources familiar with the matter, Bungie, not matter like the other game, but the matter of this, Bungie is in the midst of shifting around the creative leadership on Marathon, including removing longtime Bungie designer Christopher Barrett. Now, from the game director role, IGN learned he's being replaced by former Valorant game director Joe Ziegler, who also left Riot Games for Bungie in 2022. Now, IGN has also reached out to Bungie for comment on whether or not Barrett will remain with the company, but Bungie has not yet responded to IGN's request for comment. But shortly after he reached out, Ziegler confirmed the appointment as game director on X/Twitter. Now, quote, "For the last 9 months, I've been working on Marathon as a game director," he wrote. "He's still baking, but I'm also excited to share you with more information on the game as we get closer and closer to bringing it all to you." Well, this is very strange because 9 months ago, okay, it goes back to like July. Well, last May, Christopher Barrett was the lead. And then just shortly after his announcement of being the lead, all of a sudden, he's no longer there. And yet we haven't heard anything. Not that we have to hear anything. We're just the regular consumers. But it's kind of odd that nothing was said or stated, because you would think that, hey, we have a new person. This is what's going on. So I wonder what's happening behind the scenes that, obviously we probably won't know until later down the road. So while this is going on, sources tell IGN that Bungie is pouring resources into getting Marathon out the door. The game's direction has shifted somewhat under Ziegler's new leadership. Now, one source says, including moving away from the custom player characters in favor of selectable cast of heroes. So think of Overwatch, think of Apex Legends. You're going to have, this is an extraction shooter, right? That's what Marathon is. So less Overwatch, but when I bring up Overwatch, more of the hero type of stuff, right? So they're trying to use custom characters instead of, a cast of heroes. So lots of skins probably are going to be for those. Now, Marathon over Matter. Now, while upcoming Destiny 2 expansions in final shape is also being prioritized for growing fears and rumors that layoffs are immediately follow the release, one person with knowledge of the budget at Bungie told me that nothing adds up, and something will need to happen to curb the cost unless the final shape does very well to cover the gap and people can move on to Marathon. Okay, so we know that the final shape is doing, well, before the final shape wasn't doing very well, right? I've said for years that Bungie just can't manage money, okay? Obviously, they can't manage their own studio because over and over again, they failed doing something, but yet Bungie's never at fault. Okay, so if Final Shape comes out and doesn't do very well, well, then they're in trouble even more. Now, I think this is sort of a twofold. Like, this is coming out because they need Final Shape to do well. So it's like, oh, look at us, poor us, we're struggling. Can you help us out? Type of thing. So when Sony acquired Bungie, the studio brought it up with a number of other projects, including MOBA-like game codenamed Gummy Bears. and also a new IP as Matter. Now, according to sources, Matter was canceled back in 2020. Matter was that NetEase game that they were working on that they got $100 million for. Well, they took that money, and then they canceled the project. Now, I don't know if they just took the money and they didn't have to give it back or anything contracts-wise, but they did take money from NetEase, and then they didn't give them a product. So that's interesting as well. But the team continued working on similar projects with slightly different directions until it was canceled in late 2022. Now, Gummy Bears, meanwhile, is currently in a holding pattern due to ongoing company struggles. Now, within the company, there's a growing expectation of senior company leadership that will leave the droves in the summer of 2026 when the final payout from Sony acquisition of the company takes effect. Now, obviously, this is like higher-ups under contract that can't do, but soon as 2026 hits and that contract is done, a lot of people are jumping ship. I would think more people are going to jump ship right after Final Shape happens. Once Final Shape happens, I think a lot of people, ones that can leave, maybe not the higher-ups, but other developers that are on the lower scale that don't have these like ironclad contracts of 2026, then they'll just leave, right? So with this in mind, there's a strong push to get Marathon out the door before then and let whatever takes it reigns after that, be it Sony or Bungie. Worry about how it's sustained. Now, here's a world of worry that I have. I'm not interested in Marathon. I'm not interested in the extraction shooter or whatnot. But I see this game, hold up a second, coming out just like every other game that comes out in 2023, 2024, 2025, where it comes out broke, buggy, unfinished, and they'll fix it over the next 12, 18, 24 months while the microtransactions work just fine with the microtransaction store. Now, again, I'm being very facetious and just kind of picturing what it is because this is what all games are doing nowadays, right? The games are broke, online doesn't work, servers are crashing, but yet the microtransactions will work fine. So, Marathon and a sprint. It says Bungie has found itself rocked by a number of major shakeups in recent years and have tanked morale with Destiny Studios and left the future uncertain. Now, Sony officially acquired the studio in mid-2022 with the promise it would largely retain semblance of freedom of independence and subsidiaries. Well, not so much now. Now, while the sources say largely remain true, Bungie has struggled to meet the key financial targets. Destiny 2 significantly underperformance last year. Here's the thing. When you borrow money from somebody, you guys seen some movies, right? You've seen some things. Someone goes, hey, yeah, I'll loan you some money. Yeah, we'll help you out. But then when you have to pay that money back and you can't, those friends of yours don't actually your friends. They're actually business people, and they'll do whatever it takes to get their money back. And if that's taking your company away from you because you couldn't pay them, well, that's what will happen. So in October, Bungie laid off roughly 100 of its then 1,200 employees, okay, amidst greater cost-cutting measures, and saw Marathon delayed till 2025. And the employee benefits slashed, further damages the mood internally. Notably, multiple sources at the time since have shared Sony has largely left the studio to sort out its own troubles and is also responsible for the layoffs and CEO Pete Parsons taking responsibility. Okay. However, the sources at the time also told IGN that there was leaders that were asked if they were considered taking pay cuts prior to making layoff decisions, and one responded that Bungie was not that type of company. Internally, the sentiment is only growing that the final shape needs to succeed for Bungie to avoid further internal turmoil. Neither Bungie nor Sony responded to IGN's request for comment. Okay, so there's a lot of problems going on here, and I've said this in other videos that we've covered Bungie and Destiny in the past. Bungie is the problem. Okay, the leadership of Bungie. Now, the developers are not the problem. Okay, the developers are just developers. They're the worker bees, the worker ants. They're making the game. But the upper management has been a problem with this for many, many, many years. You could go back to GXG and me talking about certain things that Bungie has problems managing money, at least back in like 2016, 2017, right between Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. Okay, now, they've always had problems, and everyone's always like, no, it's Microsoft's problem, and, bad Microsoft for Bungie, and they lost the IP of Halo to Microsoft. Then they found their way because they wanted to separate and become their own independent studio so they could publish their own games, but they couldn't do that. So then they needed help with money. So they went to Activision, and then Activision Blizzard paid for their way to make what they want. And the best part about Destiny was Vicarious Visions that made stuff for Destiny, not Bungie themselves. Okay, they were making better stuff. Then Activision gave them the opportunity to buy out to get the rest of the company back and also pay off the rest of Destiny, okay? And they got the IP back, okay? Then they went off on their own again, and they said, we're going to publish our own games, took money from NetEase. Then that game got canceled. Then they were going to do other projects, but those things fell through as well. Then they needed help again, okay? Reached out to Microsoft once again, but they said, no, they're not going to do it. They were overcharged too much, right? Microsoft went off to purchase Bethesda for better IPs and better stuff, right? Bigger umbrella there. And then Bungie went off and said, hey, anybody want to buy us? And Sony picked them up for $3.2, I think, billion. And here we are. Now they're with Sony, and Sony starts to look at the books and says, well, there's a lot of problems here. What are you guys doing over here? There's like chaos going on. Okay. Hiroki Totoki said, very disappointed on what's going on over at Bungie's leadership, and they have to make changes. Now, lots of people always leave. Companies always leave and get rid of people. People leave studios and move on to other studios. But Bungie's always had this issue with they just can't hold on to money, okay? Telling you stuff like, well, because you spend microtransactions here, this is why you got the content here, which is just silly. Because other video games in the business make a game, sell a game. And once they make that game and they make the money for that game, they make their next game or they support their next game and they move on. And that's the way it is. I make a product, borrow someone else's money, make a game, sell that game, make a bunch of money, pay that person back, then make our next game. But yet Bungie can't do that, and they're in very big trouble. Now, as more goes on, we'll find out more about this as it goes. But this is the article from IGN. I think that Bungie has bigger problems that we know of. This is what we know of. Think about other things that happen. Like when technology comes out, we're like, oh my God, can you imagine all this other technology? But then underneath the hood, like the government has a bigger, like if we have AI that can do this, what do they have, right? We're seeing all this stuff surface from Bungie, but what's actually happening at Bungie? Just like what actually happened at all the other companies that had problems, and then months later, we finally find out. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. What do you think is going to happen to Bungie? Do you think Sony just completely clears house? Is Marathon going to come out? It's going to be actually a complete game? Is Destiny going to be continuing on to Destiny 3 in the future with Sony and not Bungie? Let me know in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, and subscribe. And if you like what we do here, please make sure you check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. All right, what's going on, chat? Sarge says, replacing Marathon director. Yeah, they replaced him 9 months ago, Sarge. And we're just hearing about it now. Water Bear, what's going on? I know, 30. I can't wait for the final shape to take the final shape. No? Oh, okay. The final shape doesn't do well. The magic finger of the fans will blame Sony. That's right. It'll never, ever be Bungie's fault, Sarge. Broke Bungie unfinished. Standard operating procedure. First, it was an extraction shooter, already chasing trends. Now it's morphed into a hero shooter as well, apparently. Greater cost-cutting measures. One less yacht. I mean, some of the devs could be the problem, too. Sure, Argus, you're absolutely right. I'm not going to say there's not any bad people, but what I'm saying in general is that the game is only as good as their management, and the management is what makes them do certain things, right? So they okay stuff, they don't okay stuff. If they hire certain people that don't know what they're doing, sure, and they could be toxic, and they could be whatever else that's going on. But what I'm saying in general, management is really bad in Bungie. What's going on, Mo? Bungie's money management is a magic 8-ball. Should we put microtransactions in? Yes. Okay. So how many times did Bungie fuck up but wasn't their fault? That would be every single time. Every single time. Everybody says the $100 million isn't for a game. Matter isn't for NetEase. The money was to get out of control of Activision and get set on the table at Bungie. No, that's not true at all. The $100 million was from NetEase to make them a game. That's what it was for. They paid, what, $180 million to get the IP away from Activision? Marathon received 9 to 10 months ago. Say they marked Barrett being director for reveal, then dropped him a few weeks after. Come on, L. If we're lucky, Bungie won't be able to weasel way out of this one. It's not even about weaseling their way out. You know what I mean? Bungie has been dumped by Xbox, Activision already. Can they make it a third time? Now, I said a couple weeks ago, Bungie will find a way to get away from Sony. Right? If that's giving the IP of Destiny to them and then just them separating, they will try to find a way. But it doesn't look like there is a way. Sony will take control of their company from them. They'll be like, yeah, we just want to... They're like, well, we could take the money. We could take the money. We'll just give them Destiny. We're done with Destiny. Destiny's 10 years old. No one cares about that anymore. Right? Like, they can sell them the IP to separate, and Bungie can still stand alone later. The deal to Tune for $100 million, giving NetEase a minority stake in Bungie, as well as a seat on its board of directors, according to Game Industry. I'm pretty sure here. Now, you might be correct, and that might be part of the stuff. Okay, but I'm pretty sure that NetEase... All right, Bungie game has never been released in the mainland China before, but they could change in the future. Chinese online gaming company NetEase today announced that it has made an investment more than $100 million in a Destiny developer in a transaction that will see the gain of minority stake in the beloved Washington. Okay, we also not hard to. So who gave them the $100 million for Matter? Matter was a thing they were making for someone. They got. Partnership is about bringing the expertise of NetEase and also striking ideas, allowing the incubate new ideas. Parsons said, there's no explicit deal to publish games for China. Okay, Bungie also is looking at the deal to further its ambition as a global multi-franchise entertainment studio by learning more of its new partnership experience. All right, well, even better then, right? Even better then. That means they just took $100 million from NetEase because they needed, they were struggling, right? They wanted to break, they wanted to be their own publisher, and yet they couldn't do it, right? So they borrowed money from NetEase, and then it was done. Then they also got money from Matter, and then that also got canceled. Bungie's that girl that has passed around the block more than a few times. Mike is getting closer. Bungie's going to leave again. I think so. I think they'll do whatever they can take to get away from, like, they'll give Destiny. They're like, yeah, you can have the IP. They'll sell it just like they sold Halo. That's from the Verge article. Well, I'm reading the thing back in 2019 real fast. The deal does not impact Bungie's existing agreement with Activision, Destiny franchise, with Parsons stressing that we have a great partner already in Activision. This is back in January of 2019, by the way. When did Bungie separate from Activision? Like, listen to this bullshit of talk. The deal does not impact Bungie's existing agreement with Activision on the Destiny franchise, with Parsons stressing that we have a great partnership already with Activision. Activision is an amazing partner and has been an amazing partner and remains an amazing partner for us. Destiny's been a fantastic experience for both groups. When did Bungie leave Activision? Bungie splits from Activision, acquires. Okay, this is pretty interesting. This is pretty interesting, right? Because this article from NetEase Games, okay, is from January 30th, 2019. Yet, January 10th of 2019, Bungie splits with Activision, acquires rights to Destiny. Bungie's a publisher of Activision, bringing their 8-year Destiny partnership to close. The developer announced today that it will require publishing rights to the shooter franchise from Activision and will publish future games on its own. Until it doesn't. Okay. Today, we're announcing plans for Bungie to assume full publishing rights and responsibility for Destiny's franchise. Bungie and Activision's said in a joint statement going forward, Bungie will own and develop the franchise. The Activision will also increase the focus on its own IPs and other projects. Activision and Bungie are committed to seamless transition to Destiny franchise and will continue to work closely together. The planned transition process is already underway in early stages, with Bungie and Activision both committed to making sure that a handoff is seamless as possible. 2018, Bungie struck a deal with Chinese internet company NetEase to establish Game Maker as a global multi-franchise entertainment company. Bungie received a $100 million investment from NetEase to help the studio build new teams and new worlds, Bungie CEO Pete Parsons said at that time. Now, Bungie Simulator split from Microsoft Studio former owners 2007 to establish itself as an independent company. In that case, Microsoft retained the rights to Bungie Halo franchise and established the new studio 343 Industries to oversee the series. Right? I see a deja vu. I see deja vu. Bungie's basically a video game version of a prostitute. It's amazing. Question. We'll still stick to Matter isn't Marathon? Matter isn't Marathon because in the IGN article, it says that Matter is canceled. Right? Marathon's still going. Matter is canceled. Yeah, according to sources, Matter was canceled. Matter was a completely separate game. Matter is not Marathon. Great partner. Money. Leave the money on the leave the money on the dresser. Destiny may have the last long tune, but it's also lasting by the skin of its teeth. By managing to last is a really success that doesn't happen through pure intentionality. Just because it lasted long, it also can replicate other companies because it never constantly successful. So it doesn't see as much value in that. Water says, I'm trying to figure out where did Bungie go wrong? I mean, it went so right. I'll be honest with you. I think they were struggling from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2. I truly believe Destiny struggled from the very start. They had a game they were working on for 4 years, and then they pivoted and changed it to what the Destiny was 13 months before it actually launched, okay? And then they fixed it across the way up until the Taken King came out. Then they got their shit together, and then when Destiny 2 came out, if you watch the GDC conference, they said they completely lost all their people. Everyone was gone. Just 6 weeks after they released it. I think they've struggled the entire time. Hence why they just kept adding more microtransactions. Hence why they just kept delaying stuff, changing the factors. They were struggling, I think, the entire time. They made a shit ton of money. Don't get me wrong. Right? They made a shit ton of money. But there was major, major issues behind the scenes. Somewhere down the road, someone will write a book of their memoirs at Bungie Studios. And then we'll find out more there. Matter got shit canned in 2020. Let's face it, Matter was never mattered. This is the same studio that gave us Halo and Destiny. The fuck happened to them? I don't know, man. Lightning struck in the bottle twice? I mean, I don't know. I know a guy, right? And I'm sure some of you guys have known a guy like this, right? I met a person when I was working in the industry. He was a millionaire multiple times in his life, right? And he also was homeless. Okay? He went from scraping by to becoming a millionaire, not knowing how to spend money, lost that, became a millionaire again, a multimillionaire, and then lost that again. Okay? Some people just don't know how to manage money, right? Then there's people that you give them $100 and they can make that last. Okay? Ron says, Marathon must include giant bugs with an extraction gameplay. Sold. Sold. They publicly made it look like they went so right, they never really did. They just slapped tape on it, all the holes, and threw skeletons in the closet. I said something when I met them in 2000, it was like 16. Okay, I met a lot of developers there, and I'd met a lot of upper management there and talked to them at conventions. And I was like, something's off. I was like, something's off. I think they faked it till they made it. I'll be honest. As management, not developers. I still think the developers are very talented. Okay? Has nothing to do with the developers of the game. I think the developers are very talented. They made a hell of a game. It was a blast. Destiny 1 was a blast. Okay? So when I say they're faking it till they make it, I'm not talking about the developers, okay? I'm talking about upper management getting put into position and then not knowing what you're doing and not asking for help and just kind of going along your way and overspending and doing a bunch of stuff. Bungie went to shit in January 2016 when Pete Parson took over. Bungie struggled when they left Xbox. I've lost track of how many times they fucked up. Well, they've never fucked up, Crowded, right? According to the internet, Bungie has never messed up. It was always been Microsoft and Activision and everybody else. Man, I can't wait for the doc series. You know it's coming. The rise and fall of Tide. Where'd Bungie go wrong? Yeah, I would love to see it. I truly believe there's a lot that goes in there. And I don't want to kind of like connect it to what's happening right now in Gamergate. But I think, I mean, we all know the tweets and stuff they put out. We all know the community managers, what they said and what they didn't say. One person left the company. Okay? And that's when we should have saw something was really wrong with the company. Right? When Deej left the company, I think there was something wrong there, right? When the other community managers came out and you like talk the way you talk and do what you do over what the game is, like just make a game, man. Right? Don't bring political stuff into your game, your book, your movie, right? Don't do it. Don't do that. You know, segregate half of your audience because of what you do, right? So they started doing stuff and I was like, what are they doing? And this goes back into 2018, 2019. This is before the pandemic, okay? And then it just got worse and worse as they went. They know how to make great trailers. They know how to make a fun game. But man, they just can't, they don't know what to do with the money. They make the money. Like, for instance, there was that article we read about Palworld, okay? Was it Pixel Pair? They said that this is too much money for them. They don't know what to do, right? They don't know what to do. Let me find that article again. Where was that? That was in our Discord, wasn't it? Oh, Pocket Pair. Thank you. Pocket Pair, not Pixel Pair. Pocket Pair. Yeah, right here. Okay. Palworld Dev says massive profits are too big for the studio with our size to handle. They said it out loud, right? This company said it out loud. They're like, there's way too much money for us. We don't know what to fucking do. Bungie's like, dude, you see all that money? Bungie's that guy that goes, hey, can I borrow money? Can I borrow money? Yeah, I'll pay you back. I'll pay you back. Right? They don't know what to do with money. That's right. It sounds like Bungie before Bungie. Bungie's a crackhead. Yeah. They're just like, just give me just $10. I'll pay you back tomorrow. I'll pay you back tomorrow. Then tomorrow comes, you're like, Bungie comes up to you and like, hey, I know I don't have your money today. But can I just get $20? It's this really quick bet I could do. It's a winner. It's a winner. I'll pay you back double. I'll pay you back double. Right? Bungie, if they were in the mob, right? If they made a deal with the mob, would have 2 broken legs. Let's just say that. Bungie spent all the money on suing the yoga classes. Can you imagine? Remember all the lawsuits they won? All the money they won from lawsuits from cheaters and all this other stuff? How do you have Destiny make boatloads of cash and still go into $300 million debt is crazy. Then repeatedly need to be bailed out. Yeah, it's insane. If someone came out and said, such and such stole a whole bunch of money, right? Like, sort of like, what's his name? From Star Citizen. The brother that left with $8 million or something, right? I would be like, oh, well, that makes sense, right? Like, that would be so clear picture of what happened to Bungie. But that's not happening. So it's like, where did the money go? Is everybody overpaid? Were they tipping like $100 for like a coffee order? Hey, I'm gonna get coffee. Yeah, just keep the change. Don't worry about it. All right, cool. Thanks, man. Man, I love delivering to Bungie. Every day they get coffee, and every day they give over tip. Like I don't understand. I don't understand that reference because I haven't watched The Gentleman. That's what it sounds like, though. It sounds like they're just a person that doesn't know. If an article came out like that, that would be 0 looks of surprise. That's what I'm saying. I would be like, oh, well, that makes sense. Right, because the $300 million debt. Let's give $500K to a charity because inclusion. Do you understand that? And this is not to drag, like what Rare Group, right? Thalion and Bromance and Dr. Lupo have raised more money because of that community. Okay, and they started a business. Think about this. People started businesses off of this game, where the game that made the game, the business that made the game itself, is about to go out of business. Amazing. There was a convention started off of a game, and they all became very successful. And then invested their money wisely and made other businesses off of that money. Meanwhile, Destiny, what made the game, can't survive because they just don't know how to manage money. Big day in gaming tomorrow. Dragon's Dogma 2 drops. Apparently, Rise of Ronin gets great reviews. Something just looks off with the horse riding to me. I didn't look at anything for the Rise of Ronin. We're gonna play Snow Day next Tuesday night. That'll be on stream. E bought it for me on Steam, so we're gonna play it on Steam next week, next Tuesday night. We're gonna be playing Snow Day. What's March 21st? Snow Day comes out next week, doesn't it? Well, the 26th. And then the Suicide Squad update next Thursday. So not tomorrow, but next Thursday morning, we're gonna play. We're gonna play Suicide Squad update and see what that's about. Mike, Digital Foundry made a vid about PlayStation 5 Pro. I'm not impressed. You know, I saw some things about people talking about Digital Foundry. Some people are like going up against them now, saying that they ruin games. They ruin gamers by giving the information that they do, because now gamers feel entitled and they're much more picky. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Right? Like, if someone talks and gives you information about something, just because you know that information doesn't ruin it for you. Like I don't know what the. I saw the Twitter thread and I was like, what are you talking about? They're giving their opinion. They're giving their opinion on facts of running the actual game console, right? So they're like, oh, this console does 120 frames per second, or this console does 60 frames per second, or this graphic card does this. And they're like, well, because they told all the information, they've completely ruined gaming. It's like, what? Talking about? That's what I'm saying, Mo. That's what I'm saying. Now, don't get me wrong. I do believe there is a correlation with gamers being too, and we talked about this in the past, about being too. They make their expectations way higher before a game comes out, and then it's below those expectations, and then they shit on that game because it's not good. But we are also in a place of a game where when a game comes out and actually make a game sell a game, and the game comes out and it's a good game, right? People like Baldur's Gate 3, it had problems, right? It had problems, but it's a really great game, right? It wasn't broke, buggy, and unfinished for 18 months, okay? So a lot of the games that come out broke, buggy, yeah, you can shit on those because they didn't make a game sell a game. But the games that come out and make a game sell a game, it's like we look at it as this is the pinnacle of gaming. It's like, no, that's the standard. Baldur's Gate 3 is the standard, not the absorbent like unicorn that's in the room. It's a unicorn now because games don't come out like that all the time, right? If I don't feed you food and then you eat, you're like, this is the best goddamn steak I've ever had, because you haven't had a steak in a year, right? You mean the so-called rumored specs? Gamers ruin themselves. Never subscribe to Digital Foundry. I watch them, but I don't. Just like I don't look at any content creator, I don't expect you guys to look at me and go, well, I already said it. That's it. It's golden, right? Like, I don't expect that from anybody, right? This is entertainment. At the end of the day, right? This is entertainment, right? I'm right about things. I'm wrong about things. We have conversations about things. You can agree with me. You can disagree with me. But I would hope that you would go watch other people and listen to other people and go, oh, you know what? He said the same thing as this person, that person. Maybe that's, and it kind of brings it together as, well, if there's smoke, there's fire, right? But I wouldn't take anyone as, well, this person hates it, so that means it's garbage. We take streamers as the end all be all these days, right? Yeah. If the streamers don't like it, then, well, it's a bad game, trash. The Pro will have the same CPU as the base. How crazy is that? Look, there will be a better performance, but would it be for the price? And we don't know what the price is. The best part, in my opinion, is the whole leadership will leave in summer of 2026. Stuff after that get paid for Sony acquisition, but Bungie isn't that type of company to ask leadership to take pay cut. Right. Like, for instance, yesterday, when I was talking about Marvel's Avengers and Suicide Squad, and I said the campaigns were good. Okay? Just good games. Some of you guys were like, it's trash. It's like, you know what trash is? Now, I know it's subjective, right? I know it's subjective. Like, you can like a game and I can hate a game, right? But I'm talking about the physical, actual a game, right? They're like trash is what you saw like Gollum, right? Trash is like that Walking Dead game, right? Like literally a broken, unfixable game that 1,000 people bought, right? And me saying good doesn't mean the game is like phenomenal, fantastic, great. Okay. Here, let's do that. If phenomenal's a 10, fantastic's a 9, right? Great is like an 8, right? Good is like a 6 or a 7. But with this industry and with people that talk about games, you could take away the first 5. 1 through 5 means absolutely nothing. 6 is a 1, 7's a 2, 8's a 3, and a 9 and a 10, right? Which would be a 4 and a 5 is like 100, right? It's like the scale does this. It's like the first 2 garbage, and then everything else. That's the scale of video games now, right? Which I find funny because a lot of the people that think mid-level stuff is like shit. These are the same people that got mid grades in school. And yet they passed. You can have an older computer. It's great at multitasking, upgrading your GPU, and RAM can have significant boost in power. 1 out of 5 is trash. 6 out of 8 is mid. 9 out of 10 is awesome. Yeah, sometimes you got to move those 6s and 8s down to trash as well. Water. Imagine having the same CPU will be good for devs. I learned my lesson, right? I've learned my lesson. New console comes out, I'm not getting the console day one. Not until the console comes out, people start reviewing it, people start talking about it, people start saying, hey, this game actually came out and it's 60 frames per second, or it's 4K at 60 frames per second, or it's 8K at 30 frames per second. When it comes out and they start showing, like Digital Foundry says, yeah, it actually does what it does, I'll be like, oh, I'll be interested to buy it when it's in stock. Or I'll just wait for it to come to PC. Only if it's on Xbox, right? Right. Then it's trash. All right, so the next thing up. Next thing I want to talk about is World of Warcraft, right? World of Warcraft, I have a video up about World of Warcraft where I think it's going to be coming to console, but that's not what this is, right? But kind of a little bit, right? So World of Warcraft update adding Battle Royale mode. Guys, like what I do here, I just cover the news, have conversations with chat in the live chat. If you're watching this after the fact, please make sure you share, like, subscribe. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do live streams, uploads, podcasts, lots of different content on this channel. All right, so World of Warcraft update adding Battle Royale mode. As part of a long-awaited patch of 10.2.6, World of Warcraft adds a pirate-themed Battle Royale mode to Dragonflight, which rewards players to earn. Okay? It says, after weeks of anticipation, World of Warcraft pulled back the curtain on patch 10.2.6 titled Plunderstorm, which is highlighted by the new Battle Royale game mode that players can try out. Now, the new game mode is also kept under wraps by World of Warcraft development team. It is considered a limited-time event in which players can earn cosmetic pirate-themed rewards, including outfits and more. Now, the first indication of patch 10.2.6 exists came when World of Warcraft revealed its 2024 roadmap for both the classic retail versions of the game. Unlike other patches launched throughout the World of Warcraft's 20-year history, patch 10.2.6 did not have any public test realm client to download, so players were largely kept in the dark over what the update contained. Now, while World of Warcraft executive producer Holly Longdale remained tight-lipped about the lack of updates concerning the Plunderstorm, she reiterated that the reasons for keeping patch 10.2.6 hidden would be justified once the update goes live. So that would be why the Battle Royale didn't get seen. Like, nobody data mined it, nobody did anything with this, so it was really a surprise. Now, Blizzard posted a small tease that confirmed the presence of Blizzard posted a small tease to confirm the presence of the pirate patch. in the patch of 10.2.6. But the full picture also made clear on March 19th through the World of Warcraft remained in maintenance at the time of writing. Now, Blizzard posted a blog update that covered the players could expect a Plunderstorm. Now, taking the inspiration from titles such as Fortnite, Plunderstorm is a 60-player battle royale, okay, where Plunderstorm game mode is accessed by character select screen in Dragonflight. World of Warcraft players must make a new character in Plunderstorm, but each class will play differently in the mode. With the Hearthstone Anniversary event winding down, the new game mode will be a limited time event, and the players can try, and the duration of this event remains unknown. So, what is World of Warcraft Plunderstorm? It's a 60-player battle royale set in the Arena Basin. Add-ons and disabled are in Plunderstorm to ensure a fair fight. Players will also make new characters for Plunderstorm with limited abilities and spells to start a match, and players can plunder loot and new spells to take out the competition and earn rewards for participating and winning. Limited time event with no end date announced. They think it's going to run for like 6 weeks, but they don't actually have like an end date for it. So in Plunderstorm, defeating monsters and other players will allow combatants to collect treasure and upgrade abilities and find scattered throughout the map. As in case of Fortnite, the storm will shrink in the battlefield, and then any player caught will be eliminated. However, for participating in the winning battle royale, WoW players will earn a renown points that will also give cosmetic rewards such as pirate outfits. That said, World of Warcraft Classic player will not be left out as they earn special parrot mount by playing Plunderstorm. However, Plunderstorm requires downloading the retail version of World of Warcraft and an active subscription. Now, Blizzard stated that the add-ons would be also disabled and Plunderstorm to ensure a fair challenge for all players. So in all in all, Plunderstorm is the first game mode of its kind to put into World of Warcraft throughout its long history. But only time will tell if players react to Plunderstorm and of how much feedback developers will get. My overview of this, like, I haven't played World of Warcraft since 2011. Okay, so I am no expert in any way, shape, or form to tell you, like, if this is going to be good or bad for the World of Warcraft current player base. What I think is funny is that this is, or was, it still is, I believe, the #1 MMO of all time. Okay? And I talk about this with other games that just don't know their identity, right? Like Battlefield try to become Call of Duty. Call of Duty try to become Battlefield. All these games try to become all these other games to fit in this like little criteria of a like shoebox, okay? Where if I want to go play a PvP game, I go play a PvP game. If I want to go play a survival game, I'll go play a survival game. But a lot of these people, it's all about time and time and time and time again, okay? They all try to put everything into one lump sum. Like in Fortnite, you can play Battle Royale. If you don't want to play Battle Royale, you can play the Save the World. If you don't want to save the world, you can play the music game. If you don't want to play music game, you can play a survival in Lego. If you don't want to play that, you could. They do that. Minecraft does. You want to play Battle Royale, you want to play Mission Next, you want to do survival. All of these games are starting to do the exact same things. World of Warcraft has been losing player bases for years and years. Instead of just making a game and continuing making that game and selling that game, they've decided now to go, well, let's do a shot in the dark. Let's throw a Battle Royale into this MMO game, okay, which is a completely different thing. And at that point, let's just say this becomes a really super popular game where now more people are playing World of Warcraft Battle Royale, it stays into the game, than the actual MMO itself. Now, let's go into this future where this is now taking over, where let's say the Battle Royale in World of Warcraft becomes as big as Fortnite. Do they continue playing the MMO? Do they look at this and go, well, this will bring more people into the MMO? You still got to buy the game, right? You still have to have a live subscription to play the game to get into this game mode. There's so many locked off things to get to this game mode, okay, that's in the game. You have that. Why would I go play this Battle Royale game if I could just go play another one for free? And if I'm playing World of Warcraft because I love World of Warcraft for the MMO it is, why would I go play the Battle Royale mode? You see what I'm saying? Even if I'm a World of Warcraft person, I love the IP, why would I pay a monthly subscription to go play the Battle Royale mode if this stays around? When I can just go play a free one for no extra cost. Just because I'm in my same game world and I love World of Warcraft? That just seems really odd to me. They're losing their identity, in my opinion, to what this game is. Now, I'm sure there's people that are going, wow, this is great. This is going to bring me back into World of Warcraft. And I think this is a really cool game mode. And I think that's fine if you like it. But I just look at it and go, the reason World of Warcraft is successful is because it's an MMO, not because it's a Battle Royale. Now, does World of Warcraft go down the route now? Hear me out. Do they make other game modes like what Fortnite's doing, what Call of Duty's doing, right? Now, obviously, Blizzard and Activision, right? Do they make a MMO slash Battle Royale slash survival game and they just keep adding different game modes into this? I don't know. But I just feel that they are so lost, and the people that are running that company or running the division of World of Warcraft are just lost. And now they're just kind of throwing stuff at the board. Like, what about if we do a Battle Royale? What about if we do this? And I think that needs to be kind of hold back a little bit. Instead of making different game modes to separate the developers and whatever else, they got to kind of like tune in to what the players want for World of Warcraft, the MMO that people have been playing for 20 years. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, and subscribe. And if you like what we do here, please check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. All right, let me see what you guys are saying here. Most games don't run utilizing a bunch of CPU power. You guys are talking. Plunderstorm, Battle Royale, Fortnite crossover incoming. What's going on, Clips? Can you keep your loot? If that's would it be cool to keep your loot to transfer to your main or use other game modes? It would probably just be cosmetic. I would assume. Water. I don't think you're getting something that's going to be more powerful when you get into the regular game. Damn, Asma said has been playing WoW for years since he dropped it, right? And he said that he liked it better than vanilla. I mean, I think you like it because you're so over what WoW is, right? WoW has been this stale game for a couple years now, and people just want it to get better. So obviously, if you really like something and they give you anything, right? A starving person will eat anything. You love the IP, you love World of Warcraft, and you want more World of Warcraft. But I don't think this is the answer. I don't think this is the answer to save World of Warcraft. Retail WoW is hurting these days. On the decline past 3 to 4 expansions, Classic WoW seems to be doing well. Asmongold says he's doing it is due to retail being overwhelmed by mid-max mindset and such. I mean, there could be a possible way of, if you casual file a game, right? If you casual file it, which this would do. But the problem with this, like Destiny casual filed itself, right? Perfect example. Destiny, which also was an Activision game at that time when it was there. Okay, Destiny was a grind fest, Destiny 1. Okay? Only the hardcore people liked that game. Everybody else, the normies, okay, didn't like the game because it was just too much of a grind, too much of stuff. You had to get into a raid, you had to do all this stuff. They didn't like that. Hence, Destiny 2, they casualified it. They casualified it so bad that they kicked out their player base, basically. Everyone's like, well, this is not the game for me anymore, right? I stopped playing. From Destiny 1 to Destiny 2, I stopped playing. They went for that normies. They went for the more casual gamer into Destiny. And how did that turn out for them? Right? Well, apparently they were hemorrhaging players. Now let me take a quote from Helldivers. A game for everyone is a game for nobody. Okay? And if they're looking to get more players to come to World of Warcraft, then they can't do it, right? Because they want more people to come, but if they casualify it, you're like, oh, I'm going to go play World of Warcraft now. So you're telling me right now, a person that's not playing World of Warcraft, is looking at this going, oh yeah, I'm going to 100% go buy World of Warcraft, go pay a monthly subscription so I can go play a Battle Royale game that I didn't play the game beforehand. I didn't want to play a subscription model beforehand, but now I'm going to play both those things so I can play a BR that I don't have any interest in, where I can just go play a BR. There's like 1,000 extraction shooters. There's 1,000, not extraction shooters. There's 1,000 BR games out there that you can actually do and play for free. Right? What's going on, Royale? Yeah, they said he's kind of over WoW. Yeah, but he's over WoW, but he played it for... Didn't he play the game for like 17 years? I mean, come on. He's got like over 30,000 hours in that game. 30,000 hours. Of course. Of course a person that played it that long is going to be like, yeah, I'm kind of over it. I paid for 2,000 hours, 3,000 hours for Destiny, and I was like, yeah, I'm over it. That's 10 times more. Come on, Stubby. No, my friend instantly asked me to play WoW today, and I told him no. If I want to play a BR, I'm not subbing to WoW. That's what I'm saying, right? So when someone looks at this and goes, oh, this will bring in normal people, there's a paywall to come in. Battle Royales are free, right? I can go play Call of Duty. I can go play Fortnite. I can go play all these other Battle Royales for $0. Bungie should make Destiny Classic. Tell you all this shit for the third time. Wait, that'll be Destiny 3. Look, I've said so many things about that game over the years that I was 100% correct. Everyone thought I was crazy. I was on a podcast for years talking about the stuff. I said, they will sell you the stuff over. Everyone's like, you're a fucking hater. You're a hater. You don't know what you're talking about. Look at this guy. And where are we? Where are we in Destiny? I was like, they don't need a sunset. They need a sunset, dude. Power creep, power creep. Then they come back, well, we didn't need a sunset. WoW needs WoW 2. Or does everyone favor a thing in sunset things? WoW doesn't need anything except for, like, obviously if I start in year 1, okay, and there's 20 years. Like, if I start playing WoW today, okay, obviously there's a lot of content there to play, okay? It's not going to take you 20 years to get through all the stuff, okay? It's just all the stuff is there after 20 years. So the people that are in the game, right, there's two different clienteles you're looking for. There's the hardcore people that have done everything in the game, and now they're in the end game. So you have to make content for them to come in, but you also have to make that content that comes in viable for the new players. So if it's a new area, maybe when you start a character, it starts in that new area, and then there's starter quests and stuff in that area, but then there's also end game stuff in that content as well for those for the old people. It's not going to bring in anything. It's way too late to capture the BR magic. In my opinion, it's also behind 20 hoops. Half of them include my wallet. Very strange move. Yeah, it's weird. So the way I look at it, Stubby, is that they're looking just like PlayStation looks for the people that are already in the PlayStation realm. Like, hey, we sold them this PlayStation. Let's sell these people a headset. Let's sell these people the Portal. They already know they're in the clientele. They know their clientele. The clientele likes PlayStation stuff. So they're like, okay, well, let's get them a VR headset. Maybe they'll buy it. Let's get them a Portal. Maybe they'll buy it. Let's get a controller. They'll buy it. World of Warcraft, these people have been in there for so long, they're like, all right, what else is there? Well, let's give them other game modes. Let's give them... They're trying to save them from themselves. And what I mean by that is World of Warcraft is trying to save the players from themselves. They constantly keep playing the game, okay? You hear a lot of people that always played one game the entire time get burnt out. They're like, I can't do it anymore. I'm not enjoying it anymore. They just hate it. But people that do variety... Okay, they're like, oh man, I played so many different games, right? I was like this. When Destiny came out in 2014, I played nothing but Destiny. One, because my son was born that time and I couldn't do a lot. And the game that I could only put time into was like one, which was Destiny. Once I stopped playing Destiny, I started playing all of these different games. Like, my eyes opened up. I was like, oh my God, there's so many games out there, right? Hence why I missed certain games that came out between 2014 and like 2018, because I was just playing Destiny. Right? So the World of Warcraft players, they're addicted to the game. They're playing the game. They're frustrated with the game because they're not getting the enjoyment that they used to get because all they did was play that game. Right? So they're like, well, how do we keep these people happy? How do we keep them from burning out? Well, if we give them a mode to kind of differentiate from what World of Warcraft is, and that's fine, but I think you're losing the identity of what the MMO is. You have to figure out how to fix the MMO, and fixing the MMO is not putting a battle royale in there. It's my thoughts, though. Yeah, I would like to play it, but I'm not paying for a WoW sub. Looks cool. You can actually use magic and stuff instead of guns. Right. Which is that Spellbound game that came out 5 years ago. When did Spellbound come out? Right? That was wasn't that a battle royale? Is that what it's called? Spellbound? Well, Spellbound is actually in 2020. No, that's a movie. What was that? What was that? There's a movie coming out called Spellbound. Oh, what was that? What was that game called? Not Spellbound. Oh, that's not it. What the hell was that called? You know what I'm talking about, right? It was a spell break. Thank you, Krebsy. Yeah. Spell break came out in 2020. Right? Wasn't that a battle royale? Yeah, I would like to play it. Why isn't my music playing? Yeah, I would like to play it, but I'm not paying for the sub. Okay, this is over Overwatch. They're also making where all the heroes are free now. Yeah, because they know they can't. People are not going to pay for that stuff, man. Characters are not content. Characters are not content. Hence why Suicide Squad's not charging for Joker. So it lasted, what, 3 years? But Spellbreak, wasn't that... it was only on PC. Was it on PC or was it on other things as well? I mean, on Steam, it didn't do very good. I don't know what it did. It peaked on Tuesday, December 15th, 2020, and then did a nosedive. 5,000. All-time peak. I don't know what it did on console. It says here, game developer magazine or article, whatever you want to fucking call it. Spellbreak hits 5 million players in under 3 weeks. So that had to be on all platforms, right? Had to be on all platforms. 5 million players in under 3 weeks. Developer shared milestone and revealed that the free-to-play title has been particularly popular with players in the United States, Japan, and Brazil. Spellbreak launched on September 3rd on Epic Game Store, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and asked players to filling elemental spells to each other, becoming a battle mage sending. Right? So 5 million people across Epic, Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation. Free-to-play game. Free-to-play game couldn't make it. So you're asking World of Warcraft now. So you're asking new players to buy the game, pay a subscription model, and come in for the Battle Royale. That's what you're asking. Where a free-to-play game that tried to break into the market couldn't do it. But World of Warcraft's going to do it with barriers in front of it. Spellbreak X devs on WoW BR now? Then I don't know if that's true, Titan. I didn't say that. I'm just bringing up information of a BR game that had magical spells instead of guns. I'm using it as an example of a BR free-to-play has a hard time getting people, and now you're trying to get this person. They even say if it's popular, they'll keep it in the game. If it's not popular, it's in here for a limited time. That's like a Hail Mary. They're just like seeing what sticks. Argus says people that aren't paying a sub now probably aren't going to start for a BR now either. That's my point. So they're just trying to go for the market that's already playing WoW. So Diablo BR then? I mean, they have a PvP section in there. Let's just put a BR extraction in every single game. Instead of just making a game and knowing what your game is, let's just add a game mode to everything. Hence why the Battle Royale didn't work in Fallout 76. Hence why the Battle Royale type of didn't work in Sea of Thieves, right? It wasn't really a Battle Royale. It was just more of a, pirate ship, right? They try to take games and put it in because they're like, what would it cost? What's it going to cost to put this game mode in here? BR Hearthstone coming spring 2025. Hearthstone BR and Heroes of the Storm VR MMO. I don't know. It just seems funny to me. It's a very specific. Here, and I'll show you some gameplay. This is from Mr. GM. He's got some gameplay of it, so we'll look at this for a second. Like, don't get me wrong. If I was still playing World of Warcraft and this was a game mode, I would try it. Okay? But I'm not playing World of Warcraft and I don't have a subscription. So for me to get this, I have to pay for the game, pay for a monthly subscription, and I then have to go play this game mode. I feel like it's a bad move. Now, obviously, the people that have the subscription model or playing World of Warcraft are like, oh, this is fun. Because they're trying to save them from themselves because they're so burnt out and not happy with the MMO itself that they're like, oh, what's this? A Battle Royale. And they go off and play it. I can't wait for RuneScape Battle Royale. I can't wait for the RuneScape Battle Royale. Oh, this is how you enter. Here, this is how you enter. You dive bomb in. And you can play solo and you can play 2-player, like team up. Why haven't WoW taken this mobile yet? It would make a killing then. This goes into what I was saying earlier. I have a video saying that I think World of Warcraft, if they want more people to come into World of Warcraft and make it more casual for players, the MMO itself, then you need to put it on Game Pass. You need to put it on certain things where the subscription model, remove the subscribe model and just incorporate it with Game Pass, right? You see what I'm saying? Like if you're a World of Warcraft player right now, and all of a sudden they tell you we're moving World of Warcraft over, it's on Game Pass now, and if you want to play it, you just pay the Game Pass subscription. So let's just say it's $18. It's $15 a month, I believe, for World of Warcraft. You add just an extra $3 to their already paid thing, and they get access to all these other games on top of the World of Warcraft game. Like that's a win, right? Same thing with if you're playing ESO, if you're playing Final Fantasy, whatever, up to this certain trial period. Valheim Battle Royale. Man, I'm watching the new Dragon Ball Z gameplay footage, and this might be the best looking Unreal Engine 5 game I've seen, definitely. Best Dragon Ball Z game I've ever seen. Is it it's just a fighting game? Like, what type of game is it? What's it called? I'll bring it up and look at it real fast. Is it called Dragon Ball Z? You have it in the in Discord? Put it the other day? General chat or? Oh, I see it. I see it. I'm not gonna put the sound on. Sparkin' Zero. A long video. It's 2 minutes and 12 seconds. Is this not gameplay? This is gameplay. This reminds me of a Transformer game that came out that never launched in the United States back in like 2002, 2003, where you like we're just fighting in the desert like this. Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy? And this is what I'm talking about, right? Isn't it crazy? We live in a time that I was never a Dragon Ball Z guy, right? I just wasn't my thing. Okay. But if someone told me this was an animated series just coming out, I'd be like, oh, okay. But now games have caught up to what television looks like. So you're literally playing. You're playing the show. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're literally playing the TV show. Look at this. It's crazy. If I was a Dragon Ball Z fan, I'd be like, this is fucking amazing, right? Like, look, this is the cartoon. I mean, it's at 240p, but we're at the state where the gameplay looks better than the show from back in the day. And someone's gonna be like, "Game looks like trash." It's like, talking about. Isn't this the game? This is the game that came out a couple years ago, right? Or last year. This is Dragon Ball Z Karuko, right? Karake? How do you pronounce that? I don't know. Butchering it, right? Look at this animation. This looks amazing. Again, I'm not a Dragon Ball Z guy. I'll be honest, I don't give a shit. I butchered it, I don't care. This looks fun as hell. I don't care. Sort of like these guys. Okay. Next story we have up comes from oh my that's karma coming back. They said I didn't care how to pronounce it. They came in, they almost choked me. They choked me and killed me to death. Okay, so IGN's Union flies unfair labor practice charges, calls it reader pressure owners after surprising layoffs. Okay, so this is going to be a much more of a niche thing, but I'm going to tell you why I think it's funny, because we talked about this a couple years ago when people wanted, we're going to unionize. I said, hey, you can go ahead and unionize. They can just get rid of you. Okay, so IGN Creators Guild has 3 staffers were cut despite of no financial woes or 7 open positions at the video game focused site. Okay, so following an unexpected layoff of 3 union staff members, the IGN Creators Guild says it filed unfair labor practice charges against IGN and is calling out readers to help pressure the company to negotiate. Okay, it says, quote, we're turning to our community now. The Guild said in a statement released Tuesday afternoon, join us in insisting that IGN's management sit down with us and bargain table instead of communicating with us through outside counsel. As part of the novel plea to help them from readers, the statement includes 3 email addresses belonging to a member of management. In a statement, the Guild says that the blindsided when 3 staff members were axed on March 7th and the video game media site refusing to negotiate with the Guild over the layoffs. The statement explained is now claiming that the decision to be made before the company agreed to recognize the union is in the massive breach of trust, and the statement read. Now it says, quote, the company is in no economic distress and has enacted that these layoffs even through there are currently 7 open positions, many of which are 3 colleagues that could be slotted into. The Guild continued further. The union accuses IGN of performing illegal acrobatics to avoid negotiating in good faith. Now, representatives of IGN didn't immediately respond to requests for comment from the RAP. Okay, so former senior editor and producer of IGN, Joshua, confirmed that he was one of the affected employees, posted on social media site formerly known as Twitter. Now, workers at IGN voted to unionize in February, and IGN voluntarily recognized a union after. Of our main goals, we first foremost want to see IGN grow and thrive, and digital media continues to become more and more turbulence. Okay, it's also a guild, as in a statement, is that we have been instituted for over 25 years, and the creator of IGN wanted to see it continue for 25 more and beyond. But to do so, we need support. The Creator Guild listed as most important goals and fair pay, affording health insurance, protection against layoffs, and increased diversity within the company. Okay, so there's the whole statement there. The whole point of this is that I joked about this, but joking about it because I come from experience of this. Okay, so IGN fired 3 staff members that were union workers. Okay, They fired the 3 staff members because they didn't want to pay them. They didn't want to sign the deal with them. And I talked about this in the past about people are like, well, we got to get unionized in the video game space because it's unfair, crunch and all this other stuff. And I said, you understand that if you unionize in the film industry, you only have to have a percentage of people on your staff. Okay. You only have to, let's say 10 people on your staff, 3 people, okay, for that commercial that you're doing. If it's a union shoot, you don't have to have every single person that's union. You can only have to have a percentage of people on your staff that's union. So you can have the 3 people on your staff. Now in the film industry, it's all hired, it's each individual job. This is a set position, okay? Freelance is completely different than a full-time salary position, okay? Now, what I find funny about this is they didn't want to pay because they would have to pay benefits and all this other stuff. So they're like, no, we're going to get rid of the staff members that are part of the union, that unionize. So in the front of face, they show that we support the union. We want union people. We want people. We support the industry. And then they go fire the 3 people that are union on their staff. And this will happen across the board, okay? This will happen as people unionize. They just won't hire those people. They'll just get a small portion of people to come on staff that they have to do the bare minimum to get union workers on there, if they're forced to have union workers on there, okay? Otherwise, they'll just be all freelance. And then no one will get benefits and no one will get all this other stuff. So I just find this funny. This is more of a story because I talk about this in the past and I was like, oh, well, look what's happening, right? We just heard that didn't Activision just get the largest union together? Okay. It's very simple to be in the union and you have to pay your dues. You got to pay your dues to the union. And yet if you don't have the work, because no one's going to hire you now, because now you're going to be shunned, right? Because they're not forced to have union workers on their set. But if you are union, then you have to abide by the union rules, or you just get rid of the union people. Okay. So I think this is quite funny and shady as fuck. Okay. Because obviously if they're in financial woes, it's a different matter. But they got rid of 3 people with 7 open positions in the company, which is also quite funny. Okay. Right? Not even UPS is protected by layoffs. So it's funny to me that all of this is happening when everyone's like, oh yeah, this is what will save the industry. If we unionize, it will save the industry. It's not going to save the industry. This is just all hoopla to get on board, to fight for the people because they're working 14, 16, 18 crunch time, whatever you want to call it, days, hours, weeks, months. Okay. This is why when people work on a credit, this is why I can't help these people. The only way I can help these people is, well, you pay for a product that they make, then you look at the credits and you say, hey, I missed my child's birth, and you see all the births that were happening while they were working. They didn't get to see their child get born. They didn't get to see him go from ages 1 through 4 because they were working on a game, crunch time, working long hours. This is reality, okay? And this is reality as well. IGN not hire or getting rid of union workers. This is reality. This happens every single day in the regular world, not just in video game format, okay? And where people always lose their jobs. Okay? It doesn't matter if you're union. It doesn't matter if you're part of a company. Companies don't give a shit about us as people. You are just a number. You are just a tissue. You are just a disposable person that works the job. You either work the job, do what you're told, or they get rid of you. These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, and subscribe if you like what I do. Check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. Right? They get rid of people that they don't. They're like, oh, well, he's part of the union. We don't want to pay his dues. We don't want to pay his salary. He gets paid more than Ted over here. Ted's an intern. We'll give Ted the job. Right? This is why Netflix doesn't do past season 2. Because they sign a contract with people and they have to pay the union. Okay? But after they make season 2, it goes up to a lot more money. Hence why Robert Downey Jr., when he first made the first Iron Man, he got paid, I think, like $250,000 or $500,000. And by the time he made the last movie, it was $20 million. Okay? That's why Netflix doesn't go ever past season 2. Okay? It's not because the show's not popular. It's not because of that, right? Now, if you look at certain contracts, okay, like, what's it called? What's that favorite? What's that famous one? Stranger Things. Stranger Things. When it first came out, they probably signed those kids up, right? They didn't know any better. Okay? They didn't know any better. They got them probably for dirt cheap. Okay? And because they made so much money off of the Stranger Things in the very beginning, they're okay working with those kids, and they learned their lesson, right? So that'll be a lost leader for Netflix because they made their money off the first 2-3 seasons, and now after what season are they on now? Like 5 or 6? Okay. They've learned their lesson and said, next time we do this, we definitely don't want to go past 2 seasons. I know a few share my mindset, but I can only speak for myself. People get fired everywhere, and I only care if it directly affects me, like video games. But when they do, I care most likely no. Even then, I don't care most likely. Right. Look, the fire, the best way I can do it is in Florida, we have hurricanes that come across, right? We don't want to get hit by a hurricane, but I also don't want the hurricane to hit anybody else. Okay? But when the hurricane's barreling down towards us, we're like, please don't hit us, please don't hit us, please don't hit us. And then it shares and we're like, woohoo! But it devastates somebody else. Okay? That's the best way I can tell you about layoffs. Okay? Layoffs. Layoffs happen, and you're like, well, I don't want layoffs to happen. Here comes a storm of layoffs, and you're like, oh, I made it. Woohoo! I didn't get fired. Right? And then someone else does it. Right? Layoffs, fires, storms, when it doesn't affect you, you're like, it's not a big deal. But when it affects you, you're like, I need help. I need help. I think it's 5 and it's the last season. Netflix needs to buy Bungie from Sony. It's random. Those kids are all going to have beards by the time they do the show. Weren't they like, they were like 15, 16. Now they're in their 20s, right? Well, you could buy Bungie for a really good price. Get them low. I mean, you could probably buy Bungie and then sell off the 208,000 square foot studio they built. But then again, it's in Seattle, Washington, so I don't think real estate's doing very well there right now. Bungie's like, the light bulbs are not for sale. You can buy the building, but the light bulbs, we're taking those with us. Oh, I have a story I want to talk about, but I'm going to talk about it on the entertainment show. George Lucas came out and said something, man, and I was very upset. And then we talk about the Acolyte trailer as well. We'll probably do that tomorrow morning. So tomorrow morning's show might be the entertainment show instead of the gaming show. But the problem is, here's my situation. I can't get my streaming platform to go live over on Nerding with 30 for some reason. I don't know what's up. And no one's getting back to me from Streamlabs. Right? So I got to figure out a way to go live over there without changing. If I can't figure that out, then I got to go live on this channel with my entertainment and then knock it, like delete it afterwards. And then upload it like I did last week. You would need to pay Sony $3 billion? That's not happening? Well, that's not true. If you remember, Gearbox got paid, I think it was like $2 billion or $1.5 billion, if I'm not mistaken. And now they're selling them for less than $1 billion. So you could get it for cheaper. Probably not right now, but if you wait it out, you could probably get them for less than $3 billion. Only Disney can be creative. Oh, I do have a bunch of stock writing on this. When he said amateurs, I was like, are you fucking kidding me, George? You fucking kidding me? Do you remember your whole legacy is built off of Star Wars? You know. Go on, Carlo. Freaking crazy. So far, Dragon Dogma 2 reviews. 10, 10, 10, 5 out of 5, 5 out of 5, 5 out of 5. It's a perfect scores across the board. The lowest score right now is IGN with an 8. Look at all those 10s and perfect scores. And of course IGN with the 8. I'm sure it's look, I don't really like perfect scores. To me, no game is a perfect score, but hey, you know, it is what it is. I make fun of them because they're the ones, they're the low ball here. But at the same time, like I think 9s are like perfect, right? That game better not have any issues if it's perfect. That's all I'm saying. I don't think it's a hot take, though, Eclipse. I really don't. And then look. Uh-oh. It's shittier. The Metacritic score is shittier on PlayStation than it is Xbox. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? What would I give Elden Ring? I don't give scores. Elden Ring's not a perfect game. There's no such thing as a perfect game. Always problems. And there was problems with Elden Ring. IGN becomes the girlfriend's dad that will never impress with you. That's it. PC 92. Master Race. That's the character creation is freaking crazy. Sadat the Gamer said, I played 30 hours of Dragon Dogma 2 as Kratos. Look at the detail. Is that real? Or is he baiting? Is the character creation that good? Dragon Dogma 2 IGN review says a strange and wonderful game and seems haunted by some of yesteryear's boogaboos. Dragon Dogma 2 is a retelling and re-implementation of ideas from 2012's cult classic, including an awesome dynamic world and some of the best combat in game that integrates a subtle but amazingly complex physics system. Now that blurb sounds pretty good. 8. Now the character customization is crazy in Dogma 2. Yesteryear. That's right. They're getting destroyed in the comments section. So wait, it's not a sequel? No, it is a sequel. You're gonna listen? Are you gonna listen to the IGN? Come on. Jez Gordon says, I put in 60 hours into Dragon Dogma 2. It's amazing, but you need to know what you're getting into. And here you go. Just yesterday, you guys were talking about 60 frames per second on PlayStation 5 Pro. Let's go with this one. Wait, it's not a sequel? No, it's not a sequel. It says Dragon Dogma 2. Why would you put the 2 after it? Why wouldn't you just say like Dragon Dogma insert title? Is that true? It's not a sequel? Is Grand Theft Auto 6 not a sequel to 5? And 4? And 3? Red Dead Redemption 2 situation. But it's still a sequel. It's a prequel. So is this a prequel to the game? Not really, because it's based on a different planet. They put a 2. It's a sequel by number, but not by story. It's weird. Then why? But why do they do that? Why put a 2? You could have said like Dragon Dogma and then whatever planet you're on. It's not a sequel. It's a brand new self-contained story. You don't have to play the first game. Well, that's good to know, Rose. See, people were telling me I had to play the first one, or I should play the first one. They said it's a retelling, which is basically a remake, I think. I'm so confused right now. Because it comes after 1, Mike. Duh. I hate when they name games like that. I had this problem with Red Dead Redemption 2 when it came out. I was like, why put the 2? Like, you could have just put a title. Like, Destiny 2, stupid. Right? It should have been Destiny and then the title, like Forsaken, Taken King, Taken Queen. You know what I mean? Like, but they had to define it. They're like, Destiny 1 or Destiny, then all the titles, and then Destiny 2. And it's like, why did you put the 2? So you're telling me I don't need to play the first one. I don't need to know shit about the first one. I could just pick up Dragon Dogma 1 or 2 and play it. Standalone. There's no connections whatsoever to the first game. Not the story, but the combat's the same. Okay. All right, well, then I'll start doing some research. Without 2, it's DLC. All right, look at this. GTA 6 won't run at 60 frames per second on the PlayStation 5 Pro. Tech experts predicts. Okay? We were just talking about Digital Foundry. Okay? You guys are just talking. Right? Tech experts, Digital Foundry founder Rich said that the people shouldn't expect Grand Theft Auto 6 to run 60 frames per second on the PlayStation 5 Pro. Ledbetter's comments says Inside Gaming exclusive reports on the PlayStation 5 Pro specs, which reveal that the CPU of the Pro will be identical to the standard system with 10% increase gigahertz. Speaking on the special edition of the Digital Foundry Direct, he said that a sort of conjectures that also going to get great box for Grand Theft Auto 6 will also be able to run 60 frames per second unless there's some magical CPU stuff being done by Rockstar. Suggests that not going to happen. An extra 10% on the clocks isn't really going to do much at all. The pros of the high CPU frequency mode, which takes the CPU to 3.85 gigahertz at 10% increase over the standard console, which is unlikely to have a major effect on the frames per second performance. But as co-host Alexander said, points out that necessarily won't be the case for all games. So he comments at least and says we shouldn't really be expecting GTA 6 to run at a higher frames per second on the PlayStation 5 Pro, unless, of course, Rockstar has been able to do something magical on the PlayStation 5 Pro, though. The game will also look better thanks to the console's better GPU, but what that will look like remains to be seen. Insider Gamer understands that the PlayStation 5 Pro is targeting a tentative holiday 2024. So there you go. Take what you want. You can think that his word is gold and be like, yep, see, it's not going to, or it could be that it is going to and he could be wrong. But I'm in the same boat. I'm like, why would it be like super powerful? Like, where are they getting the extra power from? Right? It's still the same CPU. That's what I'm saying, Krebsy. Where was this info? I asked weeks and weeks and weeks ago. Everyone's like, I can play Dragon Dogma 2. I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I got to play Dragon Dogma 1. And everyone's like, yeah, you should play 1. You should get the 1. And then everyone's like, don't get 1 because it's really, it didn't age very well and all this other stuff. And here we are. Reviews out. Game comes out tomorrow. Everyone's like, duh. You know, it's not a sequel. Like, what happened? Think of Monster Hunter style combat with magic, and you also have to understand that Dragon's Dogma combat works. It's great. Would be a shame if Grand Theft Auto 6 had different modes that put the choice of the player's hands if they wanted performance on fidelity or everything in between. What's going on, Super Dave? Oh my God, he's wrong. Or right. All the power coming from the false marketing. Wouldn't it be great if the PlayStation 5 Pro comes out and the Greater Web's on there? They'd be like, well, they canceled it. Well, did they? As far as looking better, it'll probably be not even noticeable. The second gameplay. Yeah, I look, right now, right? If I didn't know the power of the Xbox or power of the... When I play a game on my TV... I'm like, this fucking game looks amazing, right? Looks fantastic. I'm sure it'll look fantastic. Eclipse said, I told you not to play 1. I think everyone just wanted to suffer through it. Well, I wasn't buying 1, so I'm still not getting 2 because I just can't put the time into it. I never finished the first Dragon's Dogma. I'm not going to now with the new game. Are you playing the second game? I find out that my own, when my hand's not believing what anyone says about reading of the specs, I'll be a significant upgrade. Or will it, Rose? Will it be a significant upgrade? Right? You're going to buy it regardless. But it'd be interesting to see if you compare one to the other. I'm sure someone will do it on YouTube. The difference between PlayStation and PlayStation 5 Pro. You know what I mean? But again, if you don't have to believe anybody. Be like, I'm buying it. Either way, I think you'll enjoy it. Obviously, the company wants to sell consoles. And doing stuff like this and saying keywords and marketing does help people buy it because, like, oh, it's going to be more powerful. It's going to be. Dragon's Dogma 1 is on sale for like $5 something right now on Steam. Yeah, but Argus, I don't have time to play 1 or 2. So why would I pay $5 for the game that's 12 years old that someone says don't play it because it's really long? There's no fast travel and stuff like that. When I don't have to because 2 is not connected. The upgrade will only matter if the devs actually design the games to make use of the power, because they generally don't. They'll just be more expensive normal PlayStation 5. Oh, it says, but Mike, look how much cleaner the line on the shadow is. I mean, see that? Like when I'm slicing somebody and I'm like killing someone, I'm stabbing them, right? Or I'm driving a car and the thing's going like this past my face. I'm not looking at the grass. You know what I mean? Remember when we were playing motorsports and I turned my camera sideways and I'm like, man, that grass is sure shit. You couldn't see anything. It's just going like 100 miles an hour. The graphics on that game are like, it looks fantastic when you're moving in game at 70, 100 miles an hour. Just ignore your family like me. You'll have time. That's good advice. I think I'll do that. The difference is about 10 to 20% of frames. That's it. The CPU is killing the PlayStation 5 Pro, and they should have upgraded both the CPU and the GPU. But if they do that, then it's going to be out of their price range. You want to know this morning? This morning, I literally almost died. Okay? Doing the most stupidest thing ever. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, what did you do? Did you get on a ladder on top of a roof holding a lightning rod? No. I didn't do any of that. I picked up a board game. Right? I picked up a board game and I went to put it up on the shelf, right? And I had to step up on a step stool. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh my God. He fell off the step stool. Nope, didn't do that. I had saliva in my throat, right? And when I looked up, the saliva went down my throat, okay? And I started choking, okay? Nope. I started choking, like literally started choking. And I couldn't breathe, right? And I was like, and I was like, I couldn't breathe. I had to run into my son's room and trying to tell him to hit me on the back. Now, my kid is like 57 pounds. I was like, buddy. You gotta hit me. And he's like, what? And then he just started wailing on my back to dislodge the stuff. And then when I got done, he's like, I don't like that. I'm like, what did you want me to do? He's like, I don't like that. He's like, next time, call mom. I was like, all right, cool. Thanks. I appreciate that. That was about an hour before I went live. Why does the scene you're exposing sound like something out of National Lampoon's Vacation? I mean, that's what it was, man. This is 831 dumb ways to die. It was the most stupidest thing. I almost died on my own spit. Oh, laugh away. I mean, that's why I told the story. I could have kept it to myself. Yeah, that's what it was. He didn't like I was coughing and trying to get it out. It was funny though. You would have been wondering why I didn't go live today, because I would have died on my own spit. You know what the crazy part of the clips? Out of all the things that can happen, right? I'm on a farm. I could die 1,000 ways. You imagine? Like, no one would have known what the cause was. Right? My son would have came out of the room and saw me on the ground. Right? Like, what the hell happened? They would have done like an autopsy. They would have done everything else. They'd be like, I don't know what it is. Like, just fell off this step stool, it looks like. Looked like he fell off this step stool and hit his head on nothing. Yeah, and I almost died on my own spit water. And all I did was this. This was the move, right? Picked up the game and I went, and this move right here. That was it. That was it. Is dying on my own spit code for Sweet Baby has you hostage? Blink 4 times. Yeah, because of that, I'm no longer ever going to tilt my head up. It's over. Right, Salty? Mental note. Okay, I'm picking up something. Make sure you swallow first. I already overcame my fear. The board game's on the top shelf already. Right. It's so stupid, Argus. It's so dumb. That's why my throat's a little rough right now. Oh, for God's sakes! Now you're just making it. Now you're just making it gross, Salty. Now you're just taking it to a different level. Robert Jones says, I'm behind, but similar to Dragon's Dogma, Helldivers 2 also isn't a sequel. Where was all of this talk for the weeks leading up to Dragon's Dogma? You know, Super Dave. Now I'm thinking about picking up Dragon's Dogma, creating Jack Burton, and then playing the game. Where the hell was all this? Where the hell was all of this before when we were asking about Dragon's Dogma? The misadventures of Jack Burton. It's gonna take like 200 hours. Yeah, so that would be. Let's see, if I play 2 hours a day, we'll only play it for half a year, 1/3 of the year. Actually, longer than that because it would only be 2 hours a day. I gotta do 2 hours a day for 100 days, but for the 100 days, it would only be like Monday, Tuesday of every week. So it'd literally take me a full year to play it. Who cares if it's a story sequel or not? I mean, I do. Like, I don't want to play Mass Effect 2 if Mass Effect 1 is part of the story. You see what I'm saying? Like, sure, you could play Mass Effect 2 and just play the game, or, I know it's crazy, right? People don't watch Harry Potter 7 before they watched Harry Potter. I mean, people do, but they're probably lost as fuck. So obviously, if the game was connected, I would like to play 1 before I played 2. But now that 1's not connected, then it doesn't fucking matter. I mean, who cares as far as it is being a negative point? Well, it's not a negative. My only reason of not playing 2 is because I didn't play 1 thinking that 1 was connected to 2. Water says Dragon Dogma 2 is a sequel, an alternate reality to Dragon Dogma 1, but not really due to the time flux capacitor breaking and Marty and Doc not making it back in time to save the past. I mean, you just sold me on the game, and I know it's not in there. You just sold me. I care about story sequels for certain games. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The best part about the Mass Effect series was that you could play one character through the entire trilogy. But that's what I'm saying, Sarge. I don't know what Dragon's Dogma was. So everyone's like, you're going to play 2? You're going to play 2? You're going to play 2? Like months leading up to this. I'm like, I didn't play 1. And then people were like, 1's good, but it's really a slog to get through. And I was like, all right, well, maybe I won't play 1 because it's another 200-hour game. And I was like, okay, I won't play it. And then everyone's like, oh, it's going to be there. Now, all of a sudden, the day before, everyone's like, yeah, it's not a sequel. Yeah, you could just play it. You can just play it. Chris comes in. Do I have to play the first Dragon's Dogma game before I play Dragon's Dogma 2? The answer is no. No, Chris. That's what we've been talking about before you just got here. Having save carries progress is so rare these days? Yeah, because they don't give a shit. If you had more time, I'd tell you to play 1. You don't. You'll be fine just trying out 2. I'm going to have to make time. I'm going to have to tell my kid, I'll see you in college. I'm going to go play Dragon Dogma 2 now. Tonight we're going to finish the Lightyear Frontier game. We're gonna try to push through for like 4 more hours, see if we can open that door and get to that other section, and then I'll probably won't play that game again. Because we're moving on. Because next week we're playing Snow Day. Still got to go jump back into Helldivers. Next week we gotta play Suicide Squad. At least try out the Joker and see what's going on with the DLC in that game. Hey, you're welcome, Chris. I've been asking for months, like Krebsy said. You come in for 30 seconds to get your answer.
Dive back into the of Dragon's Dogma 2 close by, let's delicately dive back into the original game story and its various endings, pondering how they might...
Is this the story for Dragon's Dogma 1? Oh, well, I don't need to watch this because it doesn't matter for Dragon's Dogma 2. And then, if I'm just going to wait for the story, then I'll just wait for you guys to complete it, and then I'll just watch the YouTube video. It's not the story. It says Dragon's Dogma 2 story recap and sequel setup explained.
Hey folks, Jackdaw here.
All
With
right,
the
fine.
release
Let's watch it together.
Close by, let's delicately dive back into the original game story and its various endings, pondering how they might actually shape the sequel. With DD2 unfolding in a
He just said how they ship the sequel. What's going on here?
parallel universe, brace yourself for the emergence of multiverse versions of familiar characters and interconnected storylines that could seamlessly transition and hit differently from the original Dragon's Dogma. In the first game, players assumed the role of the Arisen, a chosen hero tasked with saving the world in the aftermath of a catastrophic dragon attack that marked the end of days. Unbeknownst to us, this epic saga then
30 can't play Dragon's Dogma 2 as my goal attached, but as SBI attached would be funny.
unfolded within a cyclical world that resets every millennium, overseen by a singular god seeking a worthy successor. Quite the plot twist. So whether you're a seasoned veteran or a newcomer to the series, this recap offers a clear overview of the first game's plot, never missing a beat, a perfect primer for the upcoming DD2 launch. Like lightning on my feet, let's shake off the dust of Dragon's Dogma's 12-year-old story.
All right, hold on a second. Argus, you might want to leave. I know you're playing the game right now. I don't want to spoil it for you from 12 years ago.
In the prologue of the original, we initially join an Arisen knight named Savan and his group on a quest to defeat the dragon, a harbinger of the apocalypse. We then fast forward to an unknown time in the Duchy of Grancis, where our protagonist, in my...
Hey, wait a minute. I thought, based on what's her name from SBI, she said that there was no such thing as like women in video games. This is from 2012, isn't it? I thought that wasn't possible. I thought you couldn't make women back then.
Case, Taylor Swift becomes the next Arisen, marked for the quest to slay the dragon. The Arisen's quest unfolds as they defend an encampment from a Hydra attack, witnessed by soldier Mercedes Martin. The mission then shifts to escorting a Hydra head to the capital, Gran Soren, aiming for an audience with the immortal Duke Edmund Dragonsbane. Undertaking quests for the Worm Hunter Guild becomes
There's too much movement going on with the bushes back then. Come on, man.
pivotal in gaining an audience with the Duke. And so throughout these quests, the Arisen finds support from a former Arisen
Very windy in Dragon's Dogma 1, huh?
known as the Dragon's Forged. They explore the Everfall, an underground tower recognized by the local pawn guild, and they confront Salvation, a nihilistic cult led by Elysian, fervently seeking the dragon's victory. Discovering Mercedes'
It doesn't look terrible, Z. I mean, obviously, in today's standards, yeah. Yeah, this came out the same year as Mass Effect 2. Right? Or a year after.
role as a token ally, the Arisen realizes that other nations fear Grancy's potential dominance if the Duke manages to, quote, defeat a second dragon. More on that one in a bit. But as the challenges intensify, the Arisen then faces Elysian, who turns his followers into undead in an attempt to kill our Arisen. Despite Elysian's threat, the dragon arrives and actually kills Elysian, presenting a challenge to the Arisen to find and stop the impending apocalypse. And so confronting the dragon, our Arisen is then given a choice. Fight and kill the dragon, or sacrifice their beloved, a character they've grown close to during the game, in exchange for replacing the Duke as the ruler of Grancis, which is actually a parallel to the Duke's previous own deal with the dragon, explaining why he has been immortal for so long. And this
Oh, that's right. Mass Effect 3 came out in 2012. It was 2011 for Mass Effect 2.
This choice actually marks one of the game's 4 endings, revealing a cyclical pattern. If the Arisen accepted, the dragon honours the deal and becomes dormant. The Arisen then takes credit for the victory, becoming the new Duke of Grand Sorin. This ending unveils the origins of Duke Edmund's rule, hinting at a cycle then destined to repeat. The game then concludes with our Arisen adorned in ducal robes, sitting on the throne, lonely and despondent, until a new Arisen replaces them.
This story sounds amazing.
This cycle. Now, if our hero defeats the dragon, which is kind of the default choice
Sweet,
anyway,
a dragon.
the Arisen and all
Dragon, check.
associated with the dragon lose their immortality, and the Everfall becomes a bottomless pit, swallowing parts of Grand Sorin. And as the Arisen returns to Grand Sorin, they are attacked by the now aged Duke, who accuses the Arisen of cursing him. And so, fleeing Grand Sorin with their pawn, the Arisen enters a higher plane through a portal within the Everfall, facing a godlike being known as the Seneschal, who was formerly the Knight Savan who we witnessed in the prologue. The Seneschal discloses their role as a former Arisen tasked with sustaining.
She looks like Eli Manning right now, with her mouth open. She's just like, I can say that I'm a Giants fan.
The world through their life essence.
That's how Eli Manning always looked.
As their essence fades over time, the Seneschal
Never looked surprised or shocked. It was just,
needs a replacement, explaining the recurring cycle of sending a dragon out, getting an Arisen, the Arisen then replacing the previous Seneschal as the next god to sustain the world through their own life essence. And this is the point where the story unfolds with 3 endings. First up, if the Arisen completely rejects becoming the new Seneschal and chooses a normal life, they are teleported to their hometown Carcidus without the dragon attack ever happening. The player is no longer Arisen, their pawn vanishes, nowhere to be seen, and disappointed, the Seneschal allows the player to live peacefully. But the cycle is likely to continue as
the hair back then was so bad. Like, just the way they made it. I know it's awesome back then, but it was always just like this, like, matte, like, type of thing.
As a new replacement is needed. Now, if the Arisen chooses to fight the Seneschal, but actually loses the battle, this transforms the Arisen into the next dragon, tasked with now finding a new Arisen, literally
Sweet, more dragons.
The next cycle. And in the final, definitive ending, the one that most people will have probably gone for, at least.
And look. Hold up. Let me find it real fast. Hold on. Hold on. Let me see. Is there a good one? I gotta find an image. Maybe not that one. That's not the best one. We'll be nice. We'll be nice. Move that over here. Oh wait, I gotta open the joke's going by. Hold on a second. I gotta trying to open it up. Okay. Okay, let me bring it back up. Okay. Let's bring this in. Right. God damn it. Where'd it go? There you go. You got the 2 looks. You got the 2 looks. I think it's spot on. Spot on. Definitely it's definitely Eli Manning. I mean, look at that. Like a spinning image.
Taylor Swift did. Once defeating the Seneschal in a fight, the Arisen is given the Godsbane, a weapon that has enough power to kill the Seneschal. And so, with the Seneschal's demise, their power transfers to the Arisen, enabling them to ascend as
I have Eli on the mind because her mouth is just
Seneschal. Our Arisen decides to break the cycle using the Godsbane to end
I mean, he's a 2-time Super Bowl champion. I mean, come on.
their own life. And next thing, we see them
Not many people can say 2-time Super Bowl champion.
falling back towards Grancis with their pawn, and the game
very
mysteriously
rare,
concludes with their pawn
rare group
awakening within the Arisen's body as they then meet their beloved, leaving the fate of the world ambiguous. And so after the conclusion of Dragon's Dogma, as I stated before, the sequel is now in a parallel universe, and this possibly could be post the Great Hereafter. It's here where the Arisen cycle has been shattered and the world now faces a gradual demise, which I think is a compelling starting point for a new adventure. With the emergence of a new Arisen,
I have a question. It's in an alternate universe, so is this like a multiverse thing? Is this like a MCU, but inside the dragon? Is this the Dragon Dogma universe?
2, we do now have a fresh perspective in a world free from the cycle of its.
That's even better, right? He's the only 2-time Super Bowl champion to beat Brady twice. That's right.
Predecessor, but this is Dragon's Dogma, and so is this world truly free from its previous cycles? We're gonna have to find out. What we do know is DD2's narrative unfolds against the backdrop of 2 nations, Vermund, a human kingdom, and Batal, home to the Beastren race. And we do have an intriguing plot twist which takes center stage as the Queen Regent Disa of the human kingdom Vermund has manipulated a power struggle for the throne by employing a false Arisen. This imposter somehow.
I look forward to it, Z. I look forward to it. Make sure you call in though, because it won't come across as well if you're typing it.
Backed by pawns in their service has taken over, which implies a mystery with ties to alternate universes and other Arisen cycles if they are indeed an Arisen, because their ability to command pawns certainly suggests legitimacy to the title, unless they have some sort of shrewd manipulation of pawns, and so Dragon's Dogma 2 does promise an enthralling narrative, placing the Arisen at the core of a multiverse-spanning saga, it would seem. Whether directly influenced by the events of the original game, or one of the endings, or just a definitive hereafter ending, or just not completely in its own self-contained parallel universe, you can definitely still expect a maze of plot points with endless time loops to keep you engaged constantly. And we still have many interconnected plot lines. For example, will our next Arisen face a similar entity to the Seneschal? Or how about shadow versions of the first game's characters? Ulrika is giving me absolute Quena vibes, as she is one of the first characters.
Now, mind you, she actually looks like a woman. Okay? She actually looks good, right? So, SBI cannot be involved with this.
Characters to save our Arisen after the dragon attack, which is exactly what Quena does. And Wilhelmina reminds me of.
No way. There's no way. There's two good-looking women in this game.
Madeline with her business-savvy occupation. Either way, what appears to be a simple dragon hunt is definitely not. We're in for a timey-wimey trip of a time loop time with Dragon's Dogma 2. So let me know down below all of your story speculations and expectations for DD2 and how much you think the original game will influence in terms of this game's story. Let me know also what you thought of the first game once the finale actually opened up with all of it.
All right. All right, I think that's gonna do it. You know what? I'll be honest. I'll do some research. I have some questions. I have some questions about Dragon's Dogma 2. If you guys can answer for me real fast, okay? Here's one question. 1, is it online? 2, their fucking roadmap. 3. I don't know the third one. If the first two are okay, then we're good. I'll say it's a kind of sequel depending on what story ending you choose from the first. If it's not super connected, then I'm fine. Online features. What I'm asking Jones is, on day 1, can I play the game, or is it going to be server issues? Is what I'm asking. 2 is, Is the game always online where the game's broke? I gotta wait 14 days, 21 days, 12 months for it to be broke, buggy, and unfinished? Wait and see. Yeah, I'm not buying it right now anyway. But 12 years. Yeah. I'll wait and see. I did look at some gameplay a couple weeks ago, and it did look awesome. But again, the amount of sheer investment time, a little overwhelming. I think it will become a complete with bugs. I look forward to it. I saw a tweet from Yang stating that it has performance issues. Well, don't we all? Let me see. Having a great time with Dragon Dogma 2, probably because I've got this guy setting fire to everything. Okay. Yeah, I'll watch some gameplay. I'll watch some gameplay and see what happens here. Dragon's Dogma 2 on Xbox X runs an average of 6 frames higher. Why do they make tweets like this? Right? Look at this shit. Why make a tweet like this? This is literally because this is how they make their living. Okay. Dragon Dogma 2 on Xbox X runs an average of 6 frames higher than PlayStation 5. Stay closer to 40 frames in combat. Xbox Series X, while PlayStation 5 sits closer to 30 frames. Like, just stop. People on PlayStation 5 are going to enjoy the game on PlayStation 5 because they have a PlayStation 5. And the people that have it on Xbox are going to enjoy it on Xbox because they have an Xbox. Nobody is going to be looking at this and go, I have an Xbox and or I have a PlayStation and it's running 3 frames slower or 5 frames slower. I'm going to have to go return this and get an Xbox. Like, get out of here. It's so fucking stupid. So fucking stupid. X-Men 97 Day? Is that today? It comes out today? I might have to watch the first episode. Is it all episodes or just one? Oh, well. IGN just gave it a 9. So, there you go, B. Now, I don't know if I want to watch it. I don't know if I want to watch it now. If IGN gave it a 9... Yeah, but it's stupid, Eclipse. It's just stupid. Like 5 frames. 5 frames. Sorry, 6 frames. I don't want to take them out of context. Do you know why they do the 2-episode premiere, Titan? Do you know why they do that? Question for the day. Get you invested? No, that's not why they do it. Because the metric of why they to look at it when you, because the normies, when they look at something, so viewers watched is no longer activated now, right? So it's timed watch, right? So when you say timed watch, let's say 10 people watch both episodes, right? It's 23-minute episodes, so each person watched 46 minutes, right? So it's to get more people to say, and add it all together to say, you know, Marvel's 97 or X-Men 97 was watched 47 million times or whatever. It's so they can add them together to make it look bigger. So when they use a headline of X-Men 97 had 23 million minutes watched or whatever, that's it. That's the reason they released 2 episodes. Does context matter on bad take? Well, yeah, context always matters, Z. Because you'll know it's a bad take based on the context. Needs to get back to saying Redfall will be good. It's good. It's good for content creators creating 1 video for 2 episodes for discussion. Sure, the people that are actually covering it, good for YouTubers, sure. But the reason that they do it is that's exactly it. When they write the articles and say, "Oh, no, it debuted and it had this many minutes watched." Before I watch it, I'm going to say a prayer to Stan Lee. Hope it's that's good. It's good. I mean, 5 or 6 or 4 frames. Does context matter? I mean, I just don't. I don't want to be them. It said 6 frames, so I want to make sure I say the 6 frames. That's all. It's more of a personal thing. Instead of just kind of just throwing it off and being like, oh, it's 3 frames, 4 frames, 5 frames. He said 6 frames. It's 6 frames. I haven't seen it, but I know about it, Dupless. So is Wolverine gay now and secretly in love with the Cyclops? Maybe. Maybe. X-Men 97 is pretty good so far. Cool. Maybe I'll watch it with my son. All right. Speaking, it's almost 12:30. I'm going to hang out with my son. You guys have a great rest of your evening. We'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, for more Lightyear Frontier to try to get through that door and see what more progression does in that game. Other than that, appreciate it very much. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, you become a member as little as $5. Tomorrow morning, I don't know if we're going to do this show or we're going to do the entertainment show. Either way, it's going to be on this channel if I can't get it working. We'll cover gaming stories during GXG tomorrow night, and we'll do the entertainment part, talking about the stories and stuff about entertainment, movies, television stuff during the morning tomorrow. Unless I do it right after the GXG. I'm not sure, but it's going to happen because Friday I can't do it. So we'll figure out something. Appreciate it very much. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for hanging out. Peace.